so many women are harmed trying to protect other women or girls. I don't know a single man who can say the same thing. I don't know a single man who can say he risked his life trying to save a woman or a girl even. If you know one, good for you. Please don't come in my comments and being like, well, actually, because we know it's BS. Men are not here to protect us. And the only people they protect are themselves and other men. And provider my butt. They provide trauma, unpaid labor, stress, chronic illnesses from having to live with them. But they don't provide anything to anyone but themselves and other men. As a collective, that is the truth. And yet here we are again. This time, not even a woman stepping in. I'm about to give y'all a bunch of examples and tie it all together. Be patient, please. This was a girl, a 15-year-old girl died defending her friend from a violent boy. Now, I am intentionally using those words girl and boy. 1, because they were 15 and 17. 2, because they're Black. And if there's one thing that white people and the media at large do is constantly adultify, is that the right word? You know what I'm saying. Black people, usually to somehow justify anti-Blackness and just racism in general. Okay, I'm only going to spend a little bit of time on her because this case is still ongoing. I don't have a lot of information. I'm not even going to show her face because some of my mutuals on here who seem to know way more about this case said that the family was upset. Not only that people were spelling her name wrong, this is the spelling, y'all. But we're also using photos that were not given to them. Okay, I don't know if this photo was, so I'm just going to show part of it. But this girl died defending another girl. And this is domestic violence. That's all. That's those 2 words, or partnership violence, or whatever you want to. This is what this is. This is not kids are, whatever. This is not London is dangerous. This is violence against women, and this is misogynoir, and this is a gendered violence. This is a hate crime. But because of the world we live in, they're probably going to use this example to somehow justify some racist crap. Because look how this douchebag is handling it already. He was speaking at some charity thing today, and he was calling it lacking respect and morals as a nation. Knife crime pandemic? Come on. Yeah, I know. I don't know a whole lot about Britain because I don't live there, okay? Sounds like there is an uptick in knife crime, but that is not what this is about. That's not what this is about. This is very specific. It is a girl saying no to a boy, and the boy feeling entitled to the girl, so much so that he brings a sword-like thing with flowers and a love letter. He could just win over his ex. Can y'all just call this stalking? Please? Can you please just call this domestic violence? Please? This is not a boy trying to win his ex-girlfriend back. Some grand gesture of love that he also brought a sword along with him. Come on. But just in case you want to see where this is going, the Tories and all these conservative forks are, look at this. Prime Minister, it illustrates the importance of clamping down on knife crime. Can y'all clamp down on men's rights activists, please? Red pill dude? What are y'all doing to fight against men and boys unaliving us? What are you doing about that? Nothing. They're going to use this to justify some racist crap, specifically anti-Blackness. That's what they always do because it's never, ever, ever really about protecting women and girls, AFAB, trans, really anyone vulnerable to the violence of men. It's not about that. Because if it was, I would maybe know one man who could say, yeah, I saved the life of a woman or a girl. I don't know any. I have my own story I'm going to add to this. Let's just give a couple of examples of women protecting women far more than any man is ever capable of or ever wants to. Remember this? Remember when that man assaulted a 13-year-old girl? He repeatedly groped her while everyone was asleep, threatened to kidnap her from her family, and who were seated 2 rows away. And the girl, shocker, couldn't speak because she was panicking during this assault. Couldn't speak, couldn't defend herself. Because of course, I don't think I've ever done anything but freeze in these scenarios. And guess who stopped? Guess who stopped it? A passenger, a woman sleeping next to the girl, awoke and intervened when she saw one of his hands between the child's legs. So when she intervened, what happened? He grabbed her. He started groping her because she switched seats with the girl. Because that right there is what women do. Women will put their own bodies on the line to protect women and girls. From who? Men. The protectors. I'm just telling stories that were in headlines. There's countless examples daily all over the world of this right here, what I'm talking about. But remember, just, a few months ago, just this summer, 2 super young women who had just graduated college go to Germany to see a princess castle. This thing, I guess that Snow White or one of these things allegedly was, inspired by. This man right here, this 30-year-old American man, honestly, I think this may be a hate crime. Right before this dude went to the castle, by the way, he was staying at the same place that those 2 girls were staying. Right before, he was messaging another woman in Thailand, one of his gaming friends. They talked every day, they met online, playing games. He was even texting her an hour before he did this. Tried to essay one of the girls, choking, pushing both of them over a cliff. Apparently, one of the photos he sent her featured 2 people kneeling while overlooking the castle with the caption that said, "And now I get to sit here and look at these 2 try to get the perfect Insta." That's the last message he sent before he unalived her. He tried to unalive her friend, trying to save her from getting raped. Only reason why the friend survived is because I guess like a tree or something was in her path and stopped her from falling farther. This dude right here, staying at the same hotel as his victim, a boy who never looked anyone in the eye, lived with his brother, and supposedly spent time at his local library playing Dungeons and Dragons, and often seen walking his cat on a leash. Ugh. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I didn't even want to make this video. I felt like I had to. I feel like victims deserve at least this, and yet at the same time, I'm like, it's the same crap over and over and over. Because y'all remember, I tell you this story, I've told this before. When I was in that abusive relationship in New Mexico, my friend intuitively sensed that I really needed her help to get the hell out of New Mexico. So she flew down from Alaska and slept outside of my bedroom every day she was there until we left the state alive. This woman put her life on the line getting me out of that man's orbit. She also got back some of my belongings. Maybe that's why I'm so triggered or whatever you want to call it. A 15-year-old girl at that young is doing stuff like this. She died because she went back to get like the teddy bear or the stuff of her friend. Like the things that women do and girls do for each other, they should never have to do. Because Annie, my ex, stole all of my work, years of work. All my photos were in a Ziploc bag on these SIM cards or whatever. I know, I'm a mess, ADHD, nothing's organized. But he knew that was my life's work, that my photos were not only what I needed for a lot of my slideshows and storytelling that I do, but that is my memory. Those are my diaries. I take photos because to remember the details of my life, the stories of my life, so that I can tell stories. Because without the photos, I don't know what the weather was like, what the room looked like. I go, psh, I take photos all the time for my memory, for my history, because I don't even remember any of my childhood, more or less. And so I over document my life so that I can talk about it and remember it. And that man stole it from me. They're always 5 steps ahead of y'all. You date these men, everything you think he's gonna do that, like, worse. Never underestimate these men. Never. It will get you killed. And she broke into his car and got those back. I don't have time to go in the whole story. It is honestly one of the most terrifying days of my life. And she was my hero. And then she drove me all the way to LA from New Mexico to physically pull. I mean, I was planning to go, but I swear, man, I needed someone to pull me away from that man. And I still didn't block him. Still took me a couple months to just cut him off entirely. But she removed me from him because that's what women do. But men, not so much.